Welcome to episode 3 of the Who and What Movie podcast, the podcast created to talk about shared movie experiences. We share movies all the time, but what about the first time? Who would you see it with, and how did it make you feel? And what was its impact on you? And I'm joined by my wonderful, awesome guests, my good friends, so close friends actually, and they're going to share one mic, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, but it's Denise and David Almaguer.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you guys for doing this. I appreciate it. You know, it means a lot to me.
This is my first podcast recording ever in my whole life.
Really? First ever?
First ever.
We're going to talk about a movie. And what's the movie? Well, you guys go ahead and introduce the movie.
A Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Ooh, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
I have never seen this film. You guys have. You guys have praised it. I gave you a mission, right? I sent out a text. I said, what movie means something to you both? And you guys took 24 hours.
It was a tough 24. It really was. Because we were going through a whole bunch of movies, and then we're like, no, I think this is the one.
Yeah.
It took us a little while, but
yeah,
we figured it out.
it was like thought and consideration put into
I could
this.
tell. I was sitting there. I was like, man, did they get my last text? And I was waiting. And all of a sudden, you're like, we got it. And I was like, when you said it, I was like, okay. I feel like it made sense that it was a perfect episode or a perfect movie to describe you guys. I feel from what I know of the movie, like, because it's got humor, and I know it's music infused, and it's got that wackiness, that I've seen bits and pieces. Of course, I've started it a couple times, but never finished it. Sorry to say. I know in high school I had put it on because I remember the red lips.
Yeah, that's usually like the time when people get introduced is like high school.
Yeah.
There's that one kid that one cool kid in class who has a copy.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Or like the parents, like, they love that movie and they're like, hey, check out this movie. So let's see. Fun fact about this movie. Came out September 25th, 1975. 14 years before I was born.
75? That was 5 years before I was born.
Yeah, it was only a year before I was born.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
That's crazy.
not even, I think it was like 6 months or something.
Come on. But it's a classic. It's a cult classic.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people love it.
This is probably like when you think of cult classic, this is the midnight movie kind of thing.
Yeah, and you guys were talking about midnight movies when we were talking last, and talk about the Alamo Drafthouse and how they used to show it at midnight, right? And they would do like the special showings and stuff.
Yeah, that's how me and Denise got into it. We had both seen it separately on our own, but once we had started dating, Alamo Drafthouse would do it was like the last Thursday of the month kind of a show, and they would have actors up in the front and everything, and so we just decided, let's go. We went one time, and then after that we're like, all right, this is something we did. We were going for years. I mean, we were taking anybody that we knew who hadn't seen it or who just wanted to go see it again. Mm-hmm. It was because it was always such a fun time. That was the thing. I really think that sums up like us as like a couple. Is just like, it's one of those things where you get together. Yeah. You don't get movies like that anymore. You don't get kind of experiences like that anymore, especially now with how things are going. The theater experience it's not the same anymore. Yeah, I know. This was you got a packed full. Sometimes there were over capacity because people just would stand up. Nobody would sit down. So it was a wild time. So he partied for an hour and a half, and then he went home. It was one of those weird little things. Yeah.
See, that's the theater's experience. That's also kind of partial why I created the show, was like the movie going experience. In January it was like questionable, like what's gonna happen. Now there's a little bit more hope, but I was just like, oh man, but that's the best time, was going to the theaters. And I remember before the reserved seats, I remember before they used to pack the theaters, like people would stand in the aisles. And though I saw it twice, I think, in my life. Pirates of the Caribbean, when it came out, and then I also saw it when I went to go see 8 Mile. People were like stood in the back and cheering and all this, and that you can't get moments like that. And even with the reserved seating, I feel like it is such a communal experience of like people who have similar interests. So it's like there's nothing better than when you're cheering with everyone else or laughing at the same joke. Like that feeling is undeniable. Just a quick sidetrack. Kong versus Godzilla. We watched it at home, but it's like I should have saw it in theaters. Like that's a movie you see in theaters with the packed house.
Yeah, with a big old group. Yeah,
exactly. And you could feel the you're cheering and everything.
I was screaming and yelling at home. It's just us. It's like it's not the same.
No, exactly. And sometimes you look at each other like, why are you cheering for that?
It wasn't that good.
It wasn't that great. But at least in the theater, you have at least 5 other people that feel the same.
Someone else is gonna laugh the same joke.
Yeah, and so so obviously this is a hole in my filmography, and I do want to see it, but I was waiting for people like you, fans of this film, like someone I want to experience it with you guys because you know what it's about. And I mean, of course, I would hate to disappoint if I end up not enjoying the film. Not saying that that's what would happen, but just it happens. And so, but I remember thinking about the movie. I was like, this feels like a movie I have to see with people who are already fans of it, not to see it by myself. And I just sometimes you feel that like you see certain movies and it's better to see it with someone that loves that film, and then it just means more. To experience it, and then you're like, thank you for sharing that with me, So that's how I feel about this one. Now that I found you guys, it's like I can't wait till we have a popcorn night and watch it. And
totally a movie where you can't watch it by yourself.
Yeah,
because it's like you're like, okay, it's a weird movie.
Yeah.
It's a musical, and it's got all this, kind of, like a vintage. Retro?
Well, the references.
Kind of sci-fi retro, not a parody, but like a satire almost of all these kinds of movies. You got your crazy mad scientist.
Yeah,
it's like 4 different movies put together.
Okay.
So you got all this going on. You get this couple of kids at the beginning, and then it just turns on its head to something totally different. You're like, you don't know where it's going to go until you're there.
Okay,
kind of a movie. So it's one of those you got to watch with, like you said, you have to really watch them with people because you don't get that kind of energy. I think it's a total group movie.
Yeah. See, I have to see it like that. I just do.
Nobody just sits at home by themselves watching Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I mean,
just
we did rewatch it.
Well, we rewatched it, but we were still even talking to the screen and stuff.
Yeah.
But it had been a few years actually since we actually had seen it. But yeah, it's not like you have to watch it with a
maybe
group.
this Halloween.
Yeah.
Because there's usually
Halloween.
like a production in town. What theater does that?
Always some little playhouse will have it.
What's the one by SAC? San Pedro Playhouse?
Yeah,
or the Josephine
Woodline.
Woodlawn.
There's a whole bunch. Someone will always have
a production.
Some live production of it, which is always fun.
I did experience a live production, but
we're not going to mention that one.
Okay, we won't talk about that one. But yeah, that's how I experienced it.
Yeah.
Aside from like the brief clips I had seen, and of course, being a film like this of this caliber, being iconic, it's always referenced or documented. When you see the reels, there's Rocky Horror Picture Show, there's Taxi Driver, whatever. It's always shown in those like reels. And just so spoil it away, by the way, also spoiler alert for the audience. If you haven't seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show, they're going to spoil it for me. They're going to probably spoil it for you because these guys are fans. And it's okay if you spoil it for me because, I feel like if I hadn't seen it by now, I probably would have missed it without you guys. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? I probably would have been like, okay, I can keep going. But now that I know that my friends are liking it, it's like, okay, I got to give it a try. It's like when you let us borrow Roadhouse, right?
Yeah.
For 15 years.
Yeah, I was going
to For about 15 years or so. Finally got to watch it, and it happened to be on Prime as well, so it was like pointless. All right, let's get into it. So I know you guys talked about how you saw it together, but what's the first time you each saw it separately?
I was trying to think of that, and I don't remember when I saw it separately. I remember it used to be like on VH1, during October, and so I remember seeing it on TV more than going to the theater to see it.
Okay, yeah.
But I can't pick like a specific moment. You?
Oh, I remember. I actually saw it on video first, but this was like in the 80s. It was like 88, 87, around there. My uncle had like a Korean bootleg VHS version of it. Because it just was one of those things that was never in print at the time. Like, you only saw Rocky Horror Picture Show at the theater. VHS was still, relatively new, and especially cult movies, you didn't get them. So people would just kind of like copy or make their own. So this was a Korean bootleg.
Yeah.
This is wild. Movie, so everything was all subtitled.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and stuff. It was all in English. It was the same movie, but it was just subtitled.
Yeah, it had all the...
It had the Korean subtitles on it. And I remember watching it just because it was there. Like, he had it on,
Yeah.
And so I was watching it, and I was like, okay. And I was a kid. I think I was like 12 or 13 at this time. And I was just like, all right, this is cool. This is weird. The songs are, fun and everything. But really, it never resonated with me until like high school, when you started getting into it.
Yeah.
And there was I told you the story before. The Fox Twin Theater would show it, and they would show it every weekend at midnight. So their thing was like they just always showed it.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when I first saw it at the theater.
Oh, okay.
So I was like in high school at that time.
Wow.
And so yeah, and it was one of those last places, like those art house theaters that would show stuff like that, like how you see the Bijou now.
Yeah.
They only had two
cool.
screens. Yeah, so whoever owned it they always had it on, and that place always got trashed afterwards.
Of course.
Yeah, because there's so many rules now. With all the props that they brought in before, it was just like no holds barred. You just keep going, and
Did people ever go crazy, like costume wise, like try to dress up?
Oh yeah. I mean, you always have people dressing up.
Yeah.
As one of their characters.
Yeah.
One of the characters, or just just wearing something wild.
I feel like I know the character's name, but I can't. Tim Curry plays what's
Dr. Frankenfurter.
Yeah, that's right, Dr. Frankenfurter. Yeah. I was like, I know the name in here. It's in here. Yeah, I bet a lot of people probably dress up like him.
Yeah, there's a lot of Tim Curry. There's a lot of pretty much every main character. There's at least one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's usually multiples.
Yeah.
And stuff. Because even like
cool.
Who's our protagonist, Brad and Janet? The main characters that you follow. Right. It's he's an easy costume to do.
Yeah,
so it's like you're just wearing regular street clothes. So you get a lot of Brad and Janets and stuff.
Of course. Yeah, that's cool. And then when was the first time you guys saw it? Was at the midnight too? Like,
first time together.
Yeah.
Was at Draft House when Draft House started picking it up.
Oh, okay, yeah, and they do the props and all that, and of course, I remember you guys told us it had great deals on food and beer.
What was it? The
Thursday night?
No, it was like the date. Cheap date. It was called the cheap date.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we weren't quite in agreement with what came in the cheap date, but we know it was definitely a pizza, popcorn, and a growler of beer.
Yeah.
Wow. When you could attack
side salads too.
Oh, of course, side salads.
Yeah.
Brought to you by.
That's when you could take a glass growler in there.
Yeah, big giant 2-liter glass growler.
Yeah. They don't fill anymore. Like, what am I gonna do with this growler?
I mean, 5 of those at home.
They still have those party things now, but I've only been to a couple, and they give you props and you're supposed to cheer and quote, and they're a lot of fun. But I bet back then was wild. Like,
did they give you props, or we brought them? I don't remember.
There was both, because I remember sometimes they had the whoever was presenting, because they would always have different, like, I guess, like theater troops or whatever. There was just groups of people who were like hardcore fans, though.
Yeah.
Like, I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's a great movie, but I am not one of these hardcore fans. Like, I'm not, I don't watch it every day. I don't, these people breathe it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a fun movie and it's a great time, but yeah. The hardcore ones, they usually are the ones who are kind of putting it together. So sometimes they'll bring little prop bags and they'll sell them there.
Yeah.
So you have everything you need. We would bring stuff. They were always cool. You know, the theaters would say like, hey, you know, no fire, or no water guns, or whatever whatever it was.
When you're doing those kind of warnings, then something happened before.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so you said a lot of times that this is like a weird musical science fiction fantasy, right? It's so what was like something that stood out the most, like I guess the memorable experience from it? Like, was it a character that jumped out? Was it a moment that you just always remember and you just like you can't wait for that scene to come on or anything like that?
When he's coming down the elevator.
Yeah. Probably the first time you're introduced to Tim Curry's character, it's one of those. I mean,
it's a moment.
Now he's an iconic character.
Yes,
I mean, he's one of those characters that you see it, you know exactly who it is. You don't even have to watch the movie.
Yeah,
it's like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You know, you just know the image.
Yeah.
It's like my mom knows who Tim Curry is in Rocky Horror Picture Show. She's never seen the movie.
Yeah,
you know, so she does, but she knows that image.
Yeah, of course.
And just seeing him come down and. It's a good reveal. Like it's a nice reveal. It builds up. The music's really good.
Swelling up.
Yeah, and you see it, and you're like, okay, yeah. You're in it now.
Wow, and that's like the very beginning. You said.
That's a little bit into the movie.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
It's a few songs in.
Yeah.
But you're already kind of introduced into this weird world that they get thrown into. So, but it's his first introduction. Yeah, it's really.
Well, yeah, it's the outfit, it's the makeup, it's the song.
It's the whole look.
And then when he goes back up the elevator.
Yeah.
That moment where you're waiting for like anticipation.
Yeah, that
like,
pause.
wait for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a reveal. It's a really good, one of those kind of this is the main guy. You really
what's
know.
the
You want us to summarize the movie?
No, just like how do they get there? Like, it's a house they come across, or
So
like what's
the movie starts off like there's a young couple getting married.
Okay, and it's
they're
Sigourney
the
Weaver.
guests.
No.
No.
Susan Sarandon.
Thank you. That's who I was thinking of too.
Oh, thank you.
Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick.
Okay.
Yeah,
and so
they're
married.
guests at the wedding.
Okay.
And at the end of the wedding, he proposes.
Yeah, because you're kind of like at the end of this wedding, and they're throwing the bouquet, and that couple's leaving, and that's where you kind of pick up. And Brad proposes to Janet, and there's a big musical number and everything. And the idea is they decide to go see the professor whose class they were in. That's where they first met. And tell him like, hey,
we're getting married.
We're getting married.
Like how we met.
Yeah, like how we met.
Wow. Okay.
David's version.
We'll get that's another.
You probably had a great intro yourself.
Yeah. So that's kind of like their journey. That's where they're going.
Yeah.
And along the road, they're like a country road in the middle of nowhere.
For some
In the middle of the night, in the rain and everything.
It's irresponsible.
Yeah.
Very
irresponsible.
They have a blowout.
They have a blowout. And the spare's busted.
Of course.
So, and it's raining.
And there's no one to pick them up for miles.
No.
And they're like, well, there's a castle we passed by. Let's go over there.
Let's go to what castle?
There's just a castle in the middle of in New England.
Nowhere.
There's a castle in New England, so let's go over here. And so that's how they get to Frankenfurter's thing.
Okay.
And, then that's when it gets all crazy.
And they just want to use the phone to call.
For help.
Right. The tow truck. I don't know. Whatever they want to
Yeah, because this happens all in the night.
Yeah.
This happens all in the evening. Yeah. Like that one day.
And they're not like kidnapped or anything. They're just in for the
No,
ride,
like,
right?
come in.
They're in for the ride.
They're like, okay,
They come in. You walk. You arrived on one of the.
They get to the castle, and then you're introduced to Riff Raff.
Okay.
Who's like the butler.
Yeah.
And
he buttles around.
He does his thing. And so you get, introduced in, and then, you're getting all these other characters. Magenta comes in. And so they're just kind of like they don't know what they got themselves into.
Right.
They just want to use the phone.
Yeah.
They want to get dry. They want to use the phone.
What happened?
Yeah. Well, they're getting ushered in, and they're like, well, you made it. There's our master's having a party tonight. It's having an event. They're like, oh, okay. And while this is all happening, Brad and Janet are getting stripped down to their underwear by Riff Raff and Magenta, and they're let into this big ballroom.
That's an iconic scene there when they get
Yeah, so they're led into this big ballroom where they have the signature song, the Time Warp.
The Time Warp.
This is how you get introduced to everybody. Yes. Do the Time Warp.
Do the Time Warp.
Yeah, so that's...
because they all have a solo.
Yeah, and then they all have their solos. You meet a lot of the characters. You get into the dancing. And then...
at the end of the song...
Yeah.
No.
The song's over.
Right.
The song ends.
The song ends
right
over.
there.
Is he already off the elevator at the end of the song?
No. Then he gets introduced because they're trying to, Time Warp happens, and he's like, all right, well, hey, can we just, we're trying to get to a phone.
Oh, right.
Janet's
They're trying to leave.
Yeah, they're just trying to, be cool and leave.
Like, all right, thanks,
we'll
guys.
catch you guys later, They're trying to ghost. And it's not happening.
No, you can't.
Because during this time, Frankenfurter is coming down the elevator. They don't even notice.
Yeah.
The music starts swelling up again. You're getting into another number.
Yeah.
And then you get that whole Tim Curry introduction.
Yeah.
Which is...
top notch.
Yeah, it's a great performance.
Yeah?
All the music, it's weird, it's kooky.
Yeah.
But all the songs are great.
Yeah, it always seemed like the songs...
It's got a good, solid... It's a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why...
it's lasted.
This thing has lasted as long as... because they're not dated, but they have that sound where it's
nostalgic.
Yeah, very nostalgic.
Yeah.
But it's kind of even trying to imitate a sound earlier than that.
Yeah.
So it's really I mean, the music's great. I can't say enough about it.
It's got a timeless feel to it.
Yeah.
Did it ever have like a Broadway show? Because
it was originally a show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just called Rocky Horror Show.
Gotcha.
And because a lot of the people that were in the movie were originally in the stage show.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
Because the Riff Raff, Richard O'Brien, he's the one who wrote the play.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
And the music and all that. So yeah, he's the kind of like the guy.
Yeah, the guy you least
butler.
Expect. He's buttling around, writing the script.
Yeah, because Tim Curry was in it when he played it on
Tim
stage.
Curry always looks scary in the previews. Like because I couldn't make heads or tails of it when I watch a trailer or something.
Right.
Like, is he a bad guy? Like, what?
He is the bad guy.
He's a bad guy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the
He's
vibe
a
I get.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get from him. I was like, what is he gonna do? Like, he looks really creepy.
He does a lot.
He does a lot.
He does a lot.
Oh, okay. We don't even want to go down that path.
It's very adult. It starts getting very, very adult after this. Like once you start getting into it, but it's funny.
Right.
It's not trying to be vulgar.
Gotcha.
Or anything, but a lot of the jokes are funny.
Would it be English humor or like just
no?
Is it punny?
Yeah, there's a lot of puns.
Okay.
Well, see, that's the thing about the movie too. It's so interactive
Yeah.
that during certain lines, people have come up with responses that you yell at the screen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you can start at the beginning of the movie, and there's stuff that just comes out, even in the opening credits.
People are yelling
things at the screen.
Wow.
Referring to lyrics that are being said.
Yeah.
Names of just production staff that are being put on there. Just everything.
Wow.
It's a nonstop.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's so wild how.
Well, it's funny. Like when we first started going, like we didn't know half the stuff to respond with.
Yeah, of course.
As opposed to like somebody who's more familiar.
Yeah. When I went in high school, it was mostly just it was the props. And I really didn't say a lot of the lines, or we weren't really getting into all that. But there was a lot of people. A friend of ours, we took one time for his birthday, and he was one of these like OG.
Yeah. All about it.
Yeah, when it first came out, he's older than us.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, I used to go see that when I was in high school when it came out.
Wow.
So we took him, and the stuff he was saying was totally different than what, the next generation's saying. And it's so funny because it always adapts. And every time we would go, they were changing up new lines, like just refreshing different stuff and making it more relevant. Really.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the beautiful thing about this movie. It's like you can just go in there and make a reference and.
Oh, he's out.
Yeah,
he wants to contribute.
Yeah.
This is
He
his
agrees.
favorite
I think
movie.
he agrees.
It's his favorite movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he loves it. You know, he's like he wants to throw on some spandex himself. You know. So obviously, you know, it's iconic when Tim Curry comes down the first time. Are there any other scenes that you just love, or maybe song numbers that you can't wait to hear, or maybe you love the most?
What's the Meatloaf number?
Patootie.
Well, who was he in the movie? Eddie.
Yes, Meatloaf is in this.
Oh yeah, I seen his name pop up on the
Yes.
credits in
I
the
think
beginning.
I like his segment,
His
number is
his number
fun.
is good.
He's interesting.
He's Frozen.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
It's a weird. Frankenfurter is a transsexual
Okay, yeah.
from Transylvania. That's their planet.
Oh, okay. A planet.
Yes,
So
planet
is it-
Transylvania.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So they're aliens.
Oh,
Plot
okay.
twist.
Whoa.
They're aliens, guys.
Whoa. Aliens.
Alien.
Well, Frankenfurter's making himself a man.
Ah,
He's
okay.
making
Now
himself
it's making more
yeah.
sense. Okay.
So he's making himself a man.
A companion.
Yes.
Ah.
A companion.
companion, yeah.
A companion
Yeah.
piece. You know, a side piece.
A companion.
And
A Beyonce.
yeah, you find out later in the movie that
Or
Eddie,
Jay-Z.
Meatloaf's character, was originally
The first
The
companion.
So he's the jealous lover.
well he
No.
Or-
kills him.
Oh. Okay.
Frankenfurter killed him because it didn't work out or something.
Okay.
And Eddie comes back, and Eddie had a thing with one
You
of
think you next him.
yeah.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think
Whoa.
you next. Frozen. Killed him in Frozen.
Yeah,
That's cold.
Yeah. But
Thank you.
he breaks free from the ice
yeah,
and
with the power of love.
Power of love. And you'll do anything for it, but not
Yeah.
that.
but not that.
Okay, all
It was
right.
just fun because he's on his motorcycle and he's roaming. A lot of the movie takes place in that auditorium.
It's this weird little auditorium.
Yeah.
Rolling
he's
around
driving
his
a
motorcycle through the people,
Weird
singing,
little-
and then he's got a saxophone. He starts
Sax
playing,
solo.
Wow.
and there's a dance number.
Yeah.
And
It's a good upbeat number.
good 3 minutes of fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean the whole movie's.
Well, that
nothing
part,
but
like
fun.
he has to tell your
What's a
my
high
favorite part.
energy?
Yeah. So I was saying I like that song. It's fun.
It's a good call.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Because that kind of interrupts the
Seriousness.
The darkness.
Make You a Man song
Oh.
that we got into. Because there's a whole scene. I'm jumping back and forth.
No, it's good. It's good.
There's a whole scene where Frankenfurter makes Rocky, who's his creation, and the unveiling. He's beautiful, muscular man. blonde
Oh,
hair,
yeah.
blue
Okay.
eyes.
I've seen this part. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
in just 7 days
Yeah.
They'll make him a
and
man.
6 long nights, he can make him a man.
Boom. Just like that.
Just like that.
And then it gets interrupted.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it's this big kind of like production song where
Yeah.
Frankenfurter's telling him like, hey, this is what's gonna happen, and then boom, there's a literal switch that flips,
Yeah.
For some reason.
and because it's defrosting, it's
Is
a
it?
defrost switch.
Oh.
'Cause there's this big fridge there.
Of course. Yeah.
That's where Meatloaf comes out. And,
He bursts through the ice like Kool-Aid Man.
in a
He
motorcycle.
does!
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
he
yeah.
bursts through the ice.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Oh, no. Oh, he's here.
Yeah.
And he's going to sing a song.
I remember the first time I saw Meatloaf on screen. You know, the first time I saw him was Fight Club. I think wasn't he in Fight Club?
Yeah, Fight Club.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Robert Paulson.
And I was like, yeah, because they play with his or he's doing something. What is he doing? He's got. I know he's got.
He's in a support group.
he's a
Support group, right.
He's at a support group.
Because he was a bodybuilder. His character was a bodybuilder.
Ah, yes.
That was great.
That was the first time I ever saw him in a movie, so I have to check out his
Has
number.
he in a lot of movies?
Yeah, he's been in a ton of movies.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I just knew him as a musician. I didn't know he was in like movies.
Well, you could kind of tell because, like, I mean, his music itself is very dramatic.
Oh yeah,
long.
Yeah. So
Are those ballads? Would those be ballads?
Yeah, he sings ballads.
Yeah, kills it.
It's like rock
Ballads.
The definition of it.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so I'm glad that you guys had this long-lasting, everlasting admiration for this movie. Definitely got me excited to check it out. But I wanted to talk briefly about the live version, the one that Fox put together, and see if you guys saw any of it, or it was like, you know, I know we briefly talked about it.
Right.
You saw it on a trip, right?
Yeah,
And
we were on our honeymoon.
We were on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
We were in the hotel room at the end of the day, and it happened to be on. And we started watching it, and I don't think we could get through one song. I don't think we got through one song, right?
Well, also, like, it was a 40-hour... Okay, so it was a 40-hour train ride from Denver, Colorado to San Francisco.
Don't make up excuses.
It was a long day.
Should we do a back-to-back double feature?
No. You won't want to. You're gonna be
I got to see the live version, and I didn't like that, and that's probably not the best place to start is from there.
Well, you know, you get what you get on TV, right? Like,
true, I guess. I mean, they get A for effort.
Do they though?
Yeah. There was some choices.
Is it P for progressing? Is that what we're just gonna put on everybody's report cards right now? Just give everybody a P for progressing.
I mean, they showed up, so.
Yeah.
I think there's just some things that just like, why do we need to redo it?
True.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that's funny because that was my next question was like, it's such a love movie and it's lasted all these years. You know they're gonna remake it.
But do we need to remake it?
No, there's never a need, but you know they're going to do it because nostalgia.
This is my
fourth version of what's that movie with Lady Gaga?
Oh, Stars.
A Star is Born. Like there's four versions of this.
That one was really good though.
Is it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Lady Gaga one.
Do you need 4 versions of the same movie?
No, but that's what they do.
I already got 2 versions of Justice League. That's 2 versions too many.
Listen, the second version was better than the first version. The Snyder Cut was a lot better than the original.
It was 4
hours. But I mean, come on.
Long. 4 hours.
Whoa, this is not Justice League, okay?
Titanic was 3 hours.
But you know they're gonna remake it. They're doing it all the time. I mean, come on. There's one day they're gonna say when Robert Zemeckis passed because he's putting his foot down. Yeah. They're gonna remake Back to the Future.
Or isn't there like a new Indiana Jones gonna happen or something?
Yeah, today they just got a new casting of Phoebe Waterbridge, right? Phoebe Waterbridge, is that her name? From Fleabag and.
Her?
She's casting it.
She's Indiana Jones.
She's probably gonna be his daughter.
I like Fleabag.
I don't like that show.
She's probably gonna be his daughter, I think.
Yeah.
She's gonna be
another.
I think so. I have a feeling because Mutt's gone. You know, maybe Mutt.
It's gonna be with.
Sorry. He's gone. Something's wrong.
Something happened to Mutt.
Something happened.
He has a long lost daughter.
On an expedition.
I don't know. He's 75, and I feel bad, but it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, that last one wasn't the same.
No. The first one to me is my favorite one.
That was George Lucas's fault, though.
Yeah.
He got too involved, and I love the man, but Jesus Christ, this guy.
Yeah.
He's got some. They just need to rein him in. He just needs to be reined in.
Yeah.
You know when.
Like this podcast because we're all over the place.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we got into remakes, but I was thinking like, you know, there are probably some actors just a fantasy out there, like who would be like you would like to see play any of these characters, like a Tom Hardy or something. I don't know.
I would like to see Tom Hardy play Frankenfurter.
See, that's what I could see it. He loses weight and
no, he wanted him to gain weight.
Oh, gain weight. Put the Bane mask on.
Yeah, 30 pounds of muscle.
Welcome to the time warp.
Like a little baby gorilla.
I'm gonna make a man out of you.
Oh,
right?
Yikes. We're in a different movie now.
Whoa. This is a real remake. Okay, well, so it's fair to say don't do a remake.
It's one of those movies that you really, I mean, you're not bringing anything new to it. The movie was pretty much just to get it out for more people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it really did. You know, there's only so many productions you could see that are going on at one time. So, you're able to get it out to a larger audience. And yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but it's perfect for, the play.
Yeah.
If you see a live show of this, it's fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of audience participation in that too. I mean, the actors come out.
That's what we're doing this October.
They all go, pull you up on stage.
Oh wow, that's cool.
You're part of the show.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
I guess it's the experience of going and participating.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of how that's the feeling I had with Hamilton. Like it was a Broadway show. Couldn't get to see it, but I had the music, because they had the original recordings out.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, I love the music. It'd be so cool to see the show. Never got to, and finally they put it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I finally got to experience what I've been listening to. So it felt like it had that feeling, even though it was live, but it was, recorded.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's when you were talking about how it was a show and then became the movie. It was a good way to get the masses' eyes on it. Like that's kind of how I felt with Hamilton. Like it was really cool, and then knowing people now, I mean, they always liked Hamilton, but they just that feeling of now it's the talk of the town, or it was when it came out in the summer or whatever. So with the Rocky Horror reaching the masses and stuff, that's probably a good feeling, especially for the writers and the producers working hard on it, and the fact that it's so iconic. That's the best word to describe the movie.
Yeah, 46 years.
Yeah,
and it's. I mean, there's still people watching it.
Yeah, I was looking while we were chit chatting, and I think you can still go see it with a live thing. But I think we're gonna have to drive to Austin, guys.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Sharon Needles was doing it a few years ago. She
was
Further, yeah.
Oh,
wow.
We watched RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh,
so
okay.
Sharon, what was that? Season 3? Season 2? Season 4.
4?
Yeah, because wasn't
yeah,
Alaska this is his 4th time trying out and he didn't get it, but Sharon Needles tried out once and got on.
That's another side.
Sorry, that's.
Whoa. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, is there any last thoughts you want to share about the movie?
Are we that far along? Yeah.
I guess let's spoil the ending.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil the ending. It's good. I mean, you get some crazy twists.
Yeah.
It's good.
Wait, they're dinosaurs.
What?
They're not aliens, they're dinosaurs.
No, they
the whole
shift
movie
change until
Don't be making stuff up, okay? What'd you say happened in Kong?
He bit his head off and cast into the ocean.
I mean,
I didn't want to ruin the movie, but I wanted to ruin the movie for you.
Right.
Just like I was ruining the episodes of This Is Us for Lozette. I was like, yeah, he dies in that car accident, dude. That's it. He's dead.
Wow.
It's over.
That's it. You know what? I'm going to get ahead of you with RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm going to spoil.
No, there's only 6 seasons free on Hulu. Okay.
Still, I'm
that's all we've seen. That's all we've seen.
Just to get my revenge. Or one of the Disney Plus shows.
Don't spoil Falcon and Winter Soldier for me.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch it. I might have to do a special with you guys just to talk about the shows WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Definitely.
That would be cool to talk about because I'm a big Marvel fan,
Well, you could be on. You're the Marvel fan. I just watched. So the experience is different, I guess, because I'm watching it just to enjoy the show,
to be entertained.
I don't have the backstory of having read the comics and having experienced the years of Marvel as being a fan. I just know the movies and the TV shows, and that's as deep as my knowledge of that goes. If you're gonna try to give me a backstory of a season they're not seasons. What are comic books like? Issues. That's the word. I'm seasons. TV shows. No. I don't know issues. I can't have that conversation now. In it for just enjoyment and experience. Yeah, that's a different thing. And then just that's why we had such a hard time coming up with this movie because we each had different childhood experiences of going to the movies.
And we're going to explore those.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the movies with as much frequency as you did.
Yeah, I was always at the movies.
Yeah.
I had a cool aunt and a cool grandma.
I had a life. Sucks to suck.
Pretty much is what it came down to.
I was always in every movie.
Yeah. I know that, and when my parents had divorced, that's when I went to the movies a lot. So like my mom would take me, and then the next weekend my dad would take me, and it was just like my teen years were filled with movie theater experiences. And then we always had this dollar theater that had free movies in the summer.
Oh.
So my goodness, my grandma would park in the parking lot and just let me go watch the movie, and then I would come out, and she'd still be there. I'm like, you waited the whole time? Like, I don't know. My grandma had patience, I guess. She would just sit there.
A book or something.
She was listening to her music, her country music, and
then
she always had a crossword puzzle. So so movies were a big part of my life, and then they've been even bigger, like ebbs and flows, which is what kind of inspired this podcast. Is just the fact that movies they're comfort food. They're there for you when you're down. They're there for you when you're up.
Mm-hmm.
You have moments where you want to, I have to share this movie with so-and-so. I can't tell you how many times I want to show Lisette every movie I own. Just about. But those small moments of, like the first time I showed her Chef. We went to a food truck, and then right after we watched Chef, and she loved it. And I was like, that's awesome. So, anyways, talking about the movie loving experience and all that. But I definitely want to go back to the theaters. I want to go see this movie with you guys, or see a production somewhere.
We'll figure something. We're gonna have to figure something out.
For sure, and hopefully someone's playing it eventually. But I think that's the end. I think we got there. I think we talked about the movie.
Are we there?
Spoiled it.
No, not really.
No, because there's a lot that happens.
More.
I think we only got almost
halfway
the surface.
Yeah,
well, because there's just because
and it's really not about the story.
Yeah,
it's not about that. It's just about the interaction.
Yeah,
it's about the whole theater coming together, and people are, like we were saying earlier, it's people are yelling lines at the characters every time a character comes up. Someone's got something to say about it. Like there's certain
really witty
prompts, and we haven't even gotten to the props of the
what you have to have with you when
you
see it.
So, and it's just the whole experience.
And I think that's why we picked this. Like the assignment you gave us was to pick something. And we didn't have
something that means something.
Well, that was you're gonna have a good time when you see Rocky Horror.
Yeah. And isn't that the point of going to the movies?
Yeah,
that's the whole point. That's
it hasn't been for me lately because mostly
everything's on TV.
Everything's on TV now.
Yeah. But that's the thing about the movies. Like, I remember you buy your tickets, you wake up in the morning, you're just like, I'm going to the movies today.
It was okay when you started picking your seat.
That's when I knew things were getting bad.
That's when I knew there was a
Life
pandemic
was
coming.
It was a big thing for him.
I'm still against it.
He still hated it.
I see. The thing is, you went a lot too, but I went enough to know exactly where I wanted to sit. Yeah. So I always reserved those seats.
No, this is pre-reserved. You had to. You just bought a ticket.
Yeah, you're right.
And then you had to get in
line. And then you would get in
line
line and wait to go in, shuttle in like a bunch of,
and
like you're
push
being
people
herded.
out of your way to get to your seat.
We waited in line.
It was brutal.
2 hours to go see The Dark Knight.
Oh.
When it premiered, 2 hours. That's how long the line was.
Wow.
Well, you had to get there early,
of course,
to get to be at the front of the line, so you wouldn't get the crap chairs at the back.
Or all the way in the front.
Yeah. So I know. We, I think my mom took us to see Rush Hour 2, and there was I know Rush Hour 2. What? Yeah. It was a long line.
Oh, the classic.
Yeah, classic. and we had to sit all the way up front, like this the whole time.
Yeah, isn't that the worst?
Gosh, I hated those seats.
Yeah.
I saw Bourne Ultimatum like that.
No.
That's the best Bourne, and I had to experience it like that. Oh, it was bad. So I did like when they did reserve seats, because I was like, this is where I want to sit. I don't want to sit up front.
But see, that's a thing too.
Yeah.
You remember that bad movie experience.
Yeah,
still,
that's
you
true.
know?
Yeah, no.
It's
I guess it was like the waiting in line with the other people who wanted to be there waiting in line, and it was just like
it
makes some weird friend.
Yeah, for a while.
A temporary line friend. Yeah, and you're just like, all right, I'm never gonna see you again. Bye. I need to fight for a chair. I need to push my way to. I need row 4. I need the seats in the middle or whatever.
Yeah.
Row it was.
When I was working at Target, I became like the dad of the group because I only worked during the day. So they're like, hey, we want to go to the midnight show of Thor or Pirates of the Caribbean. Can you? I would go to the theater. I'd be the dad at it was like 7 sometimes or 9 o'clock, and I would wait in line. And I'd be like, right here, guys.
Oh, you were the person letting like 5 people in line.
Yeah.
They got the dirty looks.
I mean, come on, And there's sometimes I remember I went to go see Harry Potter Part 1, Deathly Hallows Part 1. Somebody had been there all day long. They've been reading all the books before the movie started. They had a tent. They had the whole like front of the line. Yeah. It was crazy, and I was like, man, I do miss those moments though because. People, I mean, they still dress up when you do reserved seats, but it was so cool to see people dressed in costumes.
Right,
and
waiting.
The experience has changed a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's, I waited in line for like 9 hours for Phantom Menace tickets.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to watch the Phantom Menace trailer.
No.
Because I heard that was a big deal too, right?
That took me all night to download that. It was like 13 hours on my...
Dial-up.
My terrible computer dial-up. I think it did. It took me like 8 or 9 hours to download that thing for 3 minutes or whatever. And
Well, don't you feel silly now?
No, because I even went to I don't even remember what the movie was that showed it. And I went to go see it in the theater, the trailer.
Yeah.
And like lots of other people did, we left. Because I forget what movie it was. It was something terrible,
Yeah. That movie probably made a lot of money.
It did. No, it did. It made a ton of money that weekend. But only, I think, 5 people were actually there to see the movie. Because, it was one of those things. And I remember when you see these like classic kind of like logos come up.
Oh yeah.
And you start getting that feeling. You're like, all right, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And this is a 20th Century Fox movie, so you get that Fox logo start, and it's one of the old ones too.
Yeah. They're gonna probably put this on Hulu then, huh? I don't know about Disney.
I don't know.
I don't know about Disney Plus, but it
probably
Hulu.
I don't know. It might have been. I know sometimes it's like on Amazon.
Yeah.
But I think the newer one was on Hulu.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't need to talk about
that one. But it's that experience.
Yeah.
You don't get those as much anymore.
I'm gonna probably bring this up on a future episode, but my birthday was a big deal because we got to go back to the theater.
Yeah. Crazy
surprise. The best surprise has ever happened to me, besides meeting her. But going to see that movie with you guys, it was no better feeling. And then I remember when the movie started, and it was like, the music was epic, and it was just like, oh, we're in this, and it was such a great feeling. Because the last movie before the pandemic that we saw was Bad Boys for Life.
I don't even remember the last movie that we saw before pandemic. And that was the last movie we saw in the theater was Tenet with you.
Yeah.
We haven't gone back. Well, they're just opening up again.
Yeah, I know. We did try to go see Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
Snowstorm.
Yeah.
Snowpocalypse.
Yeah. Fun fact, these guys were supposed to be my guests on episode 2. But we got hit with a snowstorm, and then I got sick somehow. I don't even know. Yeah. So,
it's because we were supposed to get together. That's
it was trying to prevent, and then it was... Then the bridesmaid thing. So it was like 3 different times we had to cancel on each other. It was awful. Yeah. I feel so bad. I was like, what is happening? Man, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you guys so much for being my guests on the Who and What Movie podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. And I hope the audience finds this movie and they love this movie, or if they've seen it and they're yelling at me going, you should watch this movie. Whenever there is an audience, I'm sure if you guys listen to it, you'll yell at the screen or at the headphones because this podcast. So I can't wait to talk to you guys about doing separate interviews, talking about some movies you saw early on in your childhoods or different movie, whatever movie you're thinking of. I know David and I want to talk, or maybe you too. Roadhouse.
Is it going to be like a Crazy for Swayze?
We could do a Crazy for Swayze. I mean, that'd be...
Yeah.
That might be crazy.
You have to watch, then, Tu Wong Fu. Have you seen Tu Wong Fu?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Have you... what else you watched? Point Blank.
Of course.
Point Blank Break.
Thank
you. It's Point Blank, David.
Get it right.
God.
Wow. And then Roadhouse.
And what else did we add to that?
Red Dawn.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Red Dawn's good.
Yeah.
Steel Dawn. He did a couple of Dawn movies.
Really?
All the time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And
Still Dawn's like a weird futuristic Shane remake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
It's an old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
man.
it's a young Swayze, but a young bearded Swayze.
Whoa,
which
okay.
is,
So he's
you know,
handsome.
Yeah, you don't get him. You don't get him in
Has
a
he
beard.
ever not been handsome?
Okay, fair enough. You know, even in Roadhouse, you're like, wow.
You're like, damn, that's some
nice.
hair.
This is
Some
handsome.
hair. It's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to aspire to. I wish I got some of that Dawson.
I
hair.
call you handsome all the time.
I know you
So.
do. I appreciate it.
Yes, I want to do that, and I want to start. Lisette and I have been talking about a marathon for Denzel Washington, the Denzel Watchathon.
Denzel-a-thon.
I mean, that's training day, and Remember the Titans, and I don't know what else. Man on Fire. Oh, Flight.
Virtuosity.
Virtuosity, yes. Bring back that old school. Preacher's Wife.
Some episodes of St. Elmo's.
See, man, we got a lot of
TV show.
we got a lot of opportunities to do some episodes here. So don't be afraid to come back. Hopefully you had a good time. I had a great time as always, you know. So I don't know if you have anything to promote.
No.
Nothing. No podcast. I forgot to do that for my little brother because he has a
nice.
TikTok and I forgot to mention it at the end.
The
So
children in
just
TikTok.
The
I know.
TikToks.
Ugh.
I
There.
don't TikToks.
You know TikToks?
I don't talk.
You don't
and
TikTok?
I don't tick. No.
He does an impression of my mom, and
Is it spot on?
no, my sister and I always text him and go, "Whose mom did you have?" I don't know if we're just used to the accent or something. Like, we understand mom perfectly fine.
It's either going
but
to be perfect, spot on, or it's going to
it's
be
an
like...
exaggerative. Yes, for sure. So, however you were able to enjoy the show, I hope you guys found this on Spotify. I know Anchor distributed this all over the place, so thank you so much to Anchor for doing that for me. That helps a lot. But Spotify is the main feature. Please follow me on Instagram at the Who and What Movie Podcast. So until next time, what?
No.
Oh, you get?
Oh,
Are you counting me down?
Yeah, she's getting you down. She's giving you
Are you the producer now? My
Wrap
goodness.
it up, Mark. Wrap it
Wow.
up.
Okay.
I totally could.
Anyways, thanks to my guests, Denise and David Almaguer, the coolest couple I've ever known. Oh, please never invite Denise again.
Yeah, she's already drunk.
Jeez Louise. Okay, until next time, adios.